Top tier, and then you have the formula known as.
Yeah. That's 92 to 192. No, that's only
Sorry, product.
All right, so Friday talked about constructive interference. And destructive interference. Okay. Notice the waves do not bounce off each other, but they pass through each other. Okay. So at any moment in time, I can find the superposition of these waves. By adding up amplitudes. So here we have +2, here we have a +2. So at this moment in time, I have a +4. I could go somewhere else and say, here I have a +1, here I have a +1. So here I have a +2. Good. Superposition. Destructive interference. Okay. Here. I have an amplitude of +2. Here I have an amplitude of -2. Adding those together, I get 0. Okay, here would be +1. Same time would be -1.3. I get like -0.3. Good. That was Friday. All right, so I can get more complicated than that. Let's say I've got a solid black line and then a dashed black line, two overlapping wave patterns. And so if I add up the amplitudes, I get the gray. So like here, some amplitude, here, some amplitude, adding that on top of that, I get that. And so you can get some complicated wave patterns emerging. With that. All right. Position, you're just adding up the amplitude. So what this is illustrating is this wave is going this way, this wave is going this way. When they're overlapping each other, what is the resulting wave pattern? What is the superposition? Tell your neighbor what you think. Very good with correct answer is B. Is that constructive or destructive interference? Destructive. Going against each other. Good. Okay. So what I'm doing, this is just make sure everybody's on the same page before I give you a more complicated one. Here's green. When these are overlapping, this has an amplitude of -1. And the other one, this one has an amplitude of +2 coming together. They have a total amplitude of +1. Okay. So here's a wave pattern. Here's a second wave pattern when they are completely overlapping. What is the resulting wave pattern? Tell your neighbor. What do you say? That's votes for A. Like A. So let's say this is green. This is doing this. So at this moment in time, this has a +2, this has a +4. So you get a +6. Is that constructive or destructive interference? Constructive. They're going the same way. At this right here, this also has an amplitude of +4. This has an amplitude of -4. So combining together, you get -2. Is that constructive or destructive interference? Destructive. Going in opposite directions. Good? Okay. All right. We did all of that with pre-quiz. Okay, so we'll be able to figure out how sound waves are heard by the ears, describe different characteristics perceived by the human ear, describe different types of interference when overlapping, and tomorrow we'll talk about resonance. Okay. Skip that. That doesn't work so well. All right. So what kind of wave is a sound wave? What type? Transversal, longitudinal? The longitudinal wave. Okay. What's the source of any sound? Something vibrating. Okay. So this is a tuning fork. Okay. It is created to have a certain natural frequency. Okay. It's vibrating. Okay. That natural frequency is what you're going to hear. Now, the nice thing about this is engineered to have a certain pure tone. Try that. Okay. So, what's going on um, is this. The forks are vibrating like this to proof of concept that they're vibrating.
That's why Tim's got like airport. And like, I remember like,
We're gonna do this. Alright, so what's going on is the tuning fork's vibrating. So, do sound waves require a medium? Yes. Okay. Usually, what we're used to is air. So these dots represent air molecules. It's a longitudinal wave, a compression wave. Okay. So when the tuning fork's vibrating, it's pushing air molecules, and this ripple, this sound wave, goes through air at 343 meters per second. Okay. To our eardrum, which is on the receiving end. Okay, our eardrum can vibrates with this same frequency, and it's kind of like I know this is a dumb example. When I was in elementary school, I took my lunch, my sandwich baggie, put it over my mouth and my nose because mom never told you never to do that, but and like I did that, and it was like it flap in, flap out. You ever do that as a kid? Okay, that's kind of what your eardrum does. So when it receives a high pressure, it is pushing. It pushes in towards your head, and then when it gets a low pressure, it's sucked back out, and that vibration is sent through your eardrum canal to, and that converts that mechanical vibration into electrical signals, which are sent to your brain, which you perceive as sound. Okay, cool with that. All right, so this is kind of like magic school bus. We're going into the ear canal. The sound track to this is amazing. So this is like where you clean out your ears. Like this is where your earwax is. And we're going down. So that's your eardrum. This is what, if you ever bust your eardrum, it's this part that rips. So now we're inside. These are where the smallest bones in your body are located. this is where it converts from mechanical vibrations into electrical signals. So this is the thing that controls your equilibrium, your balance. If you ever heard of vertigo, the juices in there are messed up. And so like there's things you can do to like change, like to try to get your balance set again. But it's in those loopy tubes, the fluid in there just get messed up. Cool with that? And so someone, first hour, someone was like, what happens like, what's wrong? Like if someone's deaf, what, did you see all of the intricacies that require you to be able to hear? See, and any one of those things doesn't work, you won't be able to hear. So, kind of pretty cool. Okay. All right. So in the video, talked about the frequency determines the pitch. Yes, is that something I hit? And I think I did that. Okay. So the range of human hearing is between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. Let me know when you're out. Out. Okay. So as you get older, mechanism. I mean, this is outside of my wheelhouse. This is more of a biology thing, but as you get older, all that system that you just saw in the video gets a little worn out, and so you can't hear high pitch. So remember when I turned on the TV, I couldn't hear it. Crazy, right? And like that's what we depended on as a kid. Like, mom and dad can't hear this. Like, but everybody, all the kids know there's a TV on. You can hear it. Dad? Hey. All right. So, dogs higher than us. It's like dog whistle. Okay. Here's some music theory. Every octave, you are doubling the frequency. Every octave you go up, you're doubling the frequency. So, like the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, do. Same note, just 8 steps, hence the 8 steps in between there. Okay, I'm doubling my frequency. So, middle C, I don't need you to memorize this, has a frequency of 256 hertz. Okay, this is middle C. what you heard. Okay. So a frequency above, sorry, an octave above that is still C. What's the frequency of that would be? I know it's a Monday, but I know you can. The frequency would be what? Good job. I heard people think that. 512 hertz. Okay, I'm doubling the frequency. So here's okay, that's 512. Double that. 2 octaves. 1024. 1024. Okay. Double that. Okay. 2048. Double that. 4096. So that's this guy. That it's actually off. Someone like whacked it against something. Okay. Go with that. Every octave you go up, you double the frequency. Characteristics. How do you make something louder from a characteristic of a wave? You increase the amplitude. Did I tell you that on the? Okay. So you are moving more air molecules. So here, if you're moving this more, there's a bigger compression. That's why when you go to a concert and come out and your ears are ringing, it's because you just thrashed your eardrum with this high pressure, low pressure. Good with that? All right. Get that ready. All right. So we know how speakers work now, right? What I am going to do is I'm going to hook up one speaker. Josh, can you shut our door? Everybody on the science wing appreciates this lesson. Actually, this whole unit. They love us. Okay. The disco hotspot's on the job for you. Okay, one speaker. You can concern yourself with bigger things. I'm gonna hook up a second speaker. You catch a phone ride to drive. One speaker. 2 speakers. Cause it's the heat. 1, 2. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it. 1, 2. 1 speaker. 2 speakers. Put them back. 1 speaker. 2 speakers. 1, 2. Flipping it. 1, 2. 1, 2. What in the world? Okay, I want you to think about how a speaker works. Okay, so this is sending alternating current, yes, at a certain frequency, causing the diaphragm and the speaker to vibrate, pushing air molecules, creating sound waves. Everybody okay with that? Okay. When I hooked up 2 speakers correctly, they're both receiving the same signal. And so they're both compressing, both rarefacting. Okay. And so you get constructive interference. Makes it louder. You okay with that? But when I hooked it up incorrectly, what's going on? Okay, it got quieter, yes. Okay. But from a physics point of view, as the current is going one way in the alternating current, the current's going the other way in the other speaker, the opposite way. So I flipped. Okay. So when one is compressing, the other one is rarefacting. High pressure, low pressure. High pressure, like low pressure, high pressure. And so when those waves interact, they're experiencing destructive interference and it sounds quieter. So you can actually, if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually make your sound system like quieter with two speakers compared to one. But they usually make it pretty self-explanatory. Like they color the wires, you just match colors and you should be good to go. Good with that? Okay. So this is the basis behind noise canceling headphones. So noise canceling headphones has a microphone in the headphones, and they record the outside noises, the ambient noise, and then it not records it, but a microphone receives that signal, and then it flips that signal to be out of phase and actually plays the noise in your speakers that matches the outside noise, but in such a way that it's completely out of phase. And so you're destructively interfering the outside noise with the sound that your headphones are playing, but they play your music in addition to that. You okay with that? And so all you hear is your music. Good with that? Pretty cool. All right. All right. Beats. Beats occur when two notes played that have close to the same frequency. When two notes are played that are close to the same frequency. Okay, this is not like the drop the beat, like not rhythm beat. This is a different type of beat. Beat frequency is equal to the absolute value of the difference of the two notes, the two frequencies being played. Okay. Here's what I mean by beats. What I have are two tuning forks that are identical. Okay. Now, I'm going to add a mass to one of these. I'm going to change the pitch. Okay. When I add a mass to this, you think this is going to be higher or lower pitch to the compared to the original? Okay. If you had arms and your job was to vibrate your arms as fast as possible. Okay. And then I gave you dumbbells. I said, do it again. Would you be able to go just as fast, slower, faster, slower. There's more inertia going on. Right with that? Okay. So when I put a mass on here, that's the original note. It's going to be lower. Okay. Now, if these two are close to the same pitch, yeah, they're kind of close, similar. When you play them simultaneously, hear that fluctuation, the wah 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 wah. Okay, how quickly that wah wah happens is the frequency of the beat. The beat is the wah 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 wah. That's what we're talking about. That's what we call beat frequency or beats in physics. Okay, and good with that. Okay, what's causing that? Are these two wave patterns are played, sometimes they're in phase with each other. And you get constructive interference, that's the loud part. Sometimes they're destructive, and you get the quieter part. The wah, wah, wah. Get at that? Okay. An example that isn't really totally connected, but everybody's related to this idea of beat frequency. Sometimes when you pull up, you're turning left. You have your left hand turn signal on, and the guy in front of you has their left hand turn signal on. And sometimes you can it's in phase, yeah, but then over time it's like, oh man, wait for it, yeah. Guys, I mean, we all do it. Just sitting there bored and what's the? Oh, that's entertaining. Look at the flashing lights. Isn't that? Okay, good with that. So, follow-up question: What's gonna cause the beat frequency to decrease based on the equation? What's gonna cause the beat frequency to be less frequent? Tell your neighbor, what's going to make the beat frequency less frequent? Correct answer is if they are closer or farther apart from each other. Frequencies. They are closer together. Good job thinking the right answer. So good. Okay, so here's our original. Okay. To make it closer in pitch, am I going to move this mass up or down? Okay. So here, sound pretty close, right? We just decreased the frequency at which the beats were being played. Good with that? In band class, you can hear this when flutes try to tune themselves relative to each other. Painful. But you're like, ah. Good? Those are beats. All right, so acoustic engineering, one aspect of that would be to design rooms in the way that interference is taken into account. So a recording studio, you do not want echoes off of the walls. Okay, all you want is the source sound into the microphone. You don't need things coming off the walls. So these walls are designed for the sound waves to experience destructive interference. So there's no echoes. Okay, if you've ever been in one, it's kind of weird because it's like you don't get any. It's just a weird. Yeah, you just have to be in that. It sounds quiet. It's like you're waiting for like what you would normally hear from echoes off the wall, but there's nothing. It's just dead. You can hear yourself, but you have to go there. This is the inside of the Opera House in Sydney, Australia, and the architecture in auditoriums is different. You might think it's cool looking, you might think it's weird looking. There's purpose behind the way they're shaped. Okay, if you think about, so evidently I've never been there. If you drop a pin anywhere on the stage, you can hear it anywhere in the audience or the auditorium because of this architecture. Prevents destructive interference. Okay, cool that. All right, the last thing. How much time do I have? 30 periods. 1 minute? 30 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Here's the answer. Only changing the medium will change the speed of the wave. Only changing the medium will change the speed of the wave. So, Myron, can you help me? All right, got a worksheet due tomorrow.